Hello, everybody. This is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, coming to you tonight with another WWE DVD review, and it is the newest release entitled "For All Mankind: The Life and Career of Mick Foley." And I gotta tell you, I just spent the last few hours watching this DVD. About Mick. I just want to show you some of the inside. The inside cover is really cool. Got regular Mick, Three Faces of Foley, and Santa Claus. And for the discs, got one that represents Cactus Jack, one that represents Mankind, and one that represents Dude Love. And you know, I never I'm ashamed to say this, I never really knew a lot about Mick Foley other than what I saw and heard on TV, because I didn't really read any of his books. Just one of those people that doesn't have an attention span to read, I guess. But this DVD really brought out a lot about Mick Foley that you didn't know if you haven't read any of his books. I would encourage you to read his books because from what I've been told by numerous people, they are some of the best pieces of writing that have ever, been published, at least from a celebrity's point of view. This is a great DVD. Documentary is over 2 hours. Obviously, being who Mick Foley is, can't really shorten the DVD because there's a lot of things to talk about. Japan, ECW, WCW, WWE, important events in his career in WWE, like Hell in a Cell, and having all three faces of Foley on TV. And just a lot of good stuff. I also like how they've got some interviews from superstars from the past and guys that you would really never expect on a WWE DVD. Vader was on there, which, he's on good terms with WWE. He talks a lot about Mick. Shane Douglas, never really knew that he was close with Mick Foley. Obviously, people from each promotion, WCW, ECW, and WWE. It's a lot of great people on this DVD that talk about Mick and talk about his generosity, his kind heart, the fact that he's a good father. I will say though, a lot of the matches he talks about are on another DVD that he had come out quite a while ago. And I'll just show you just in case you've never seen it. It is the hardcore edition of the greatest hits and misses, A Life in Wrestling, Mick Foley. This came out, let me look here, 2007, and there's a lot of great Mick Foley matches that he mentions in this DVD that are on, I'll just put the two together, that are on the hardcore edition. A lot of people think wrestling's fake. I've been told that all my life as a wrestling fan. And this is just my personal Mick Foley story. In high school, me and a friend were always picked on because we were huge wrestling fans. Our whole lives were wrestling, and my friend even got into professional wrestling. And people always like, oh, you're doing the fake stuff. It's not real. You don't get hurt. All this other stuff. So one day, I brought the tape of King of the Ring 1998 to my school, my high school, and I invited anybody who wanted to see it into the journalism room where I was mainly at all the time, pursuing, and doing writing stuff. But anyway, so, a few people came, wasn't a big crowd. And I remember showing Mick Foley versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, and a lot of people, the looks on their faces are like, oh my God, how could somebody put themselves through that? Well, like, holy shit, he's really hurt. And, from that day on, some of those people, whenever they've looked at me or I talk about wrestling, they look at it in a different way because of the Hell in a Cell match. Mick, it's funny because when I was just a little kid, I was about probably 7 or 8. I caught a WCW Saturday Night's Main Event at the time. Wasn't a WCW fan, and I just so happened to see Cactus Jack versus Big Van Vader, and just the stuff that Vader was doing to Mick Foley was crazy. So, and I'm like, oh my God, what an insane person. Who is this guy that's doing all these like crazy things and getting hurt like that, and why isn't he staying down? And then you fast forward to 1996. I was 11 at the time, still was very ignorant, and obviously as a kid, you don't know the real life aspects of pro wrestling. New WWE character debuted by the name of Mankind. Now at this time, I had no idea who Mankind was. I had no, because you don't think about it. And a year and a half later, and I think it was September of 1997, Mankind, and then, he had become Dude Love, and they had a little interview thing at Madison Square Garden where Mankind was interviewing Dude, actually the roles were the other way around. Dude was interviewing Mankind, and they were talking about Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and then they introduced the character Cactus Jack to the WWE audience. And I remember, oh my God, I was like, oh my God, that's the guy that I've seen get beat up by Vader in WCW like 2 years, 2 or 3 years prior to that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the same guy, wow. And this was before Hell in a Cell. This was before, he started doing more extreme stuff in WWE. So, as I got older, I really, really learned to love what Mick Foley was doing in the ring. The guy put his body on the line for people's entertainment. Probably should have been dead. Probably a good, 10 to 15 times from me watching him personally. I'm sure there's matches I haven't seen where things were probably way worse than what I've seen. And it's funny because I look at this DVD and I was hoping that there'd be some crazy psycho match involving him and Terry Funk in Japan. But I understand, you can't get rights to it, and I'm sure Vince might have been a little picky with Mick on this DVD about what matches to put on, because it is a different era in wrestling. It's not the blood, barbed wire, flaming table era anymore, which sucks, by the way. But this DVD, appreciated, because as we all know, Mick can't wrestle anymore. Mick, what'd they say? Psychologically, or not psychologically, but something like physiologically with the brain, if he takes, one more bad shot, it could be fatal. So that part sucks, because there's a few guys in today's era, like a Dolph Ziggler, CM Punk. I know he wanted to wrestle The Miz. And it's sad that he can't, wrestle those guys and give those guys a different, edge. No pun intended. Like he did for Edge and Randy Orton. Randy Orton and Edge didn't have a whole lot of they were credible and they were well known, but they didn't have that toughness about them until they had matches with Mick Foley. And it sucks that guys like Punk and guys like Dolph and just a few guys on the roster don't have the opportunity to show just how tough they are. And the other cool thing about this DVD is I actually couldn't believe it when I seen it, as it was wrapped with Mr. Sacco. And I gotta tell you, that was the night Mr. Sacco was introduced to the WWE audience. Just funny stuff. That was the night Vince was in the hospital and Mankind first came in, brought him all these stupid presents, all these just cheesy things, and I'm not saying it was overshadowed, but everybody still remembers that segment. Not just for the birth of Mr. Sacco, but the bedpan shot that Vince McMahon got from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold did some pretty vile things to Vince McMahon in that segment. He shoved the catheter up his... shoved up... I can't even talk about it, it's so funny. Shoved the catheter up his ass. That was pretty entertaining, and it's funny, they always edit that part out nowadays because it's the PG era. But I mean, like I said, that segment was so great. Not just because of what Stone Cold did, but like I said, it was the birth of Mr. Sacco, and Mr. Sacco from October of 1998 until even to this day is still synonymous with Mick Foley. You can't talk about Mick Foley without talking about Mr. Sacco. And what a career, and what a perfect time for this DVD to come out, especially with Mick being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame just a couple weeks ago at Madison Square Garden, the same place where he witnessed Jimmy Superfly Snuka diving off the cage onto Don Morocco. He always says that was the thing that fueled him, that was the thing that inspired him, that was the thing that drove him to what he did every night. And the biography, awesome. You can't really get any better than this biography. Matches, on the other hand, like the extras, a lot of the matches I've already seen, all excellent matches, but these two DVDs combined don't even scratch the surface of how great Mick Foley was. And hopefully WWE eventually someday releases like another Mick Foley craziest matches or something like that, a 3-disc DVD that has 25 matches or something. Because like I said, those two DVDs, I've seen guys already that have had 3 DVDs come out about them, and it don't touch the surface. So there's a lot of great Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack matches out there. Obviously, with today's technology of YouTube and the internet, you can find a lot of them, but it'd be just really cool for keepsakes if WWE, came out with just a ultimate Mick Foley collection. But for now, you have to enjoy this new DVD if you are a hardcore fan, a wrestling fan, an Attitude Era fan, or if you were just a fan of one of the three faces of Foley, or all of them, pick up this DVD. It's very, very, very inspiring, very, very moving, because as you know, Mick wasn't the greatest athlete, as they say. Mick didn't have a body of a, Greek god or anything like that. It was all heart. It was all will. And I'm very, very happy I picked up this DVD. Who knows what, professional wrestling would have been like without Mick Foley. Who knows what would have happened if in 1998 he didn't start the match on top of Hell in a Cell. Mick Foley changed and altered a lot of what happened in wrestling history. And I want to leave you with this note, and I know it's been brought up quite a few times in the past on TV shows and in other, documentaries, but note this. January 4th, 1999, the night that the Monday Night Wars really, truly changed. Raw was pre-taped, as it was back then, and WCW Nitro was still live. When WCW went on the air, they said, Tony Schiavone on the order of Eric Bischoff, his words were, "Tonight on the other show, Mick Foley, who used to wrestle as Cactus Jack, wins their world title. That'll put some asses in the seats." And when he said that, over 600 million viewers switched over. 600 million. Not 600 million, 600,000. I'm just getting carried away because it's a big thing. I don't even think there's 600 million viewers at the time, to be honest with you. Oh, I'm excited. What can I say? 600,000 viewers switched over to watch Mankind defeat The Rock for the WWE title. And that marked the very last time that WCW Nitro beat Monday Night Raw in the ratings. And Mick Foley's title win had a hell of a lot to do with it. So that's history. That's crazy history. So, and to top it all off, the last thing I'd like to say is that if you want to see a highlight reel of the craziest shit Mick Foley's ever done, this is a two-hour highlight reel of the craziest shit Mick Foley has ever done. So that being said, pick up the DVD For All Mankind, the life and career of Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love, Mrs. Foley's baby boy, the hardcore legend, now the Hall of Famer. Great DVD. And all I got to say now is, have a nice day. Bang bang.